Now, Don Beck was also a calling mentor, and I went to his calling school, and he also knew the other half of square dancing. He knew traditional squares and contra dancing and enjoyed going to the Concord Girl Scout house and doing contra dancing. And at some point, even though he knew I climbed the levels and did this other stuff, he thought I should be exposed to this, and he dragged me off to the Scout house. This would probably be in 1985, between 85 and 90, somewhere in that time frame. I went once, perhaps twice, didn't get it, didn't understand it, didn't enjoy it. The live music did absolutely nothing for me. It probably all sounded the same, and we probably ridiculed it as fiddle music, the type we don't like to use as our pattern music in modern Western square dancing. Of course, modern Western squares uses all recorded music. And I didn't go back for a while, but I do remember just not liking it and not getting it. I probably made no eye contact with anyone. I probably was not that good in my dance skills as someone who could swing. The patterns probably seemed too easy to me and repetitious, and it didn't have in it what I was looking for. It'd be fascinating to meet that version of me today. I mean, it's too bad we can't have that conversation. I can only do it by memory. Although we can probably find some dancers at Tech Squares today who we could send off to the Scout House and have them go to their contra dance, interview them, and get a pretty close approximation of that conversation. At some point in, I think, the early 90s, maybe 1995, I don't remember why, my wife and I, both of us are C4 dancers, went to the Scout House again. We might have gone to NEFA first and then the Scout House. But we felt like imposters. We knew our C4 dancing, we knew how to do square dancing, we clearly knew a bunch of stuff, but we clearly didn't know a bunch of other things. So we kind of crept in and danced a typical Saturday evening, probably to someone like Tony Salatin, maybe Tony Parks, it had some squares, it had a mixer, the third dance maybe, some contras, and we did it whatever, and we enjoyed it. And we went back the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and we got better and better and felt more likely to fit in and talked to a few people at the break. And I just really looked forward to it and enjoyed it. And we started going on Monday nights, and my dance group meets on Thursday, so it's a rare Thursday I can go. By the 90s, I had climbed all the levels and I was dancing C4, and I had a C4 group that met in my basement that I danced with. But at some point I stopped enjoying it. It was too much work. It was too hard to find a tape that was exactly right for our group. That some of the tapes were too easy, some were too hard. I was frustrated with people making mistakes and not getting it. And it didn't have enough dance to it. It really was this stop and go thing as we see on YouTube, and the puzzles weren't doing it for me. As a caller, callers are really good with these puzzles. If you write choreography, and I have to write a lot of choreography for all the dances I call, at some point and with computers, which we haven't talked about, and computer generated choreography, you're way beyond what dancers can do and what they can do easily. And even though I loved all the people in my group, they would come in, as soon as I wasn't needed, I'd go upstairs and watch TV. I'd go upstairs and do something else. I really didn't enjoy dancing in my local C4 group. So I stopped doing it, and I lived for the contra dancing. And the Saturday dances at the Scout House and the Monday dances, and pretty quickly I got pretty good. I was good at swinging. The dance skills, even at Tech Squares, I started going back to Tech Squares in the 90s when Don Beck became the caller. I'd taken off from Tech Squares when I was climbing the levels. And even the dancing there, I really enjoyed watching new people learn to square dance and watching how Don taught the new people to square dance and looking at the mistakes they made or they didn't make and seeing that aha moment when they can finally do a star through reliably or something and so forth. So learning, I used to dread when lessons started as a new dancer because I already knew that and I didn't want to have to learn that again, and I begrudged the new people. Yeah, we have to learn them. It's a necessary evil of the club. Now, like I'd go back in the 90s and it was fun watching them learn to dance, and seeing them get better each week, and getting a partnering with someone, and unlike some of our angels who drag and pull people through, I've acquired a dance style, especially with new dancers, and I'll do this in contras too, but if it's wheel and deal, I'll just stand there and give them no clue, no direction, and if they start moving, I'll easily move with them, and if we're running out of time, I'll start moving with them. They have to figure it out on their own. It's a lot of fun to see them get it and not be a pushy, pulley, talky person, and I know you certainly appreciate that, and it's a fun thing to do. So I still enjoy that. I still go back. It's one of my joys. Why do I go to Tech Squares still? Sometimes it's to dance with really good dancers at a plus level where the caller's just whipping out the material and we're in constant motion. But some of it is dancing with new dancers and seeing the joy on their face as they acquire this skill. Contra dancing, I hit a place where I dance every Monday. I'd leave my Thursday group at 10 o'clock sharp, drive over to the VFW back when we were dancing there, pay my $2 or $3 depending on what Dan Pearl charges me, get on in, pick up 3 quick dances, work up a sweat, and then chat with people afterwards. I did that for several years. That was a highlight of my life. Just doing that, then going to NEFA and gross out, a whole weekend of contras. Didn't matter who you were dancing with. That was great. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit beyond that now. Beyond in a sense, I've become a very accomplished dancer, and going to the newer dance things. I can go and enjoy it. If I have someone in town, I'll bring them to a Susan Elberger dance. When I call in schools, the dance instructors there, I'll encourage them to go seek out this contra dancing because I know they can bring their husband to it right off the bat. Anyone who I need to get into dancing immediately, my daughter who's in college, her new roommate, they're regulars at the Thursday dance. It's the right age group. It's the right level of cool scene, the college scene, the hip dancers, the fireplace set. They just groove on all that stuff. It's exactly the right thing for them. They can easily get integrated. They love the energy, and the fact that you work up a sweat and it's good physical activity can't hurt. I'm kind of at a point where we have some private parties and we do some other experimental stuff. I've tried to encourage some crossover between the good Tech Squares dancers who really enjoy the partner swing and all that and have good dance feel and dance skills. Many of them are good round dancers and ballroom dancers. And we invite them into a mixture and have gotten them into some of these private party contra dances. We even set up one with Lisa Greenleaf back in I can look it up, but mid 90s or late 90s. And we've continued to do some of that stuff. I did one, we entitled it Contra Michigosh. It was just a mixture of some modern Western sets and some contra sets. My 50th birthday party was a celebration like that. My 55th was another follow-on to that kind of thing.